Hey guys, Vindi here. Let's quickly do some analysis. I haven't done the Nasdaq analysis in a while. Check out the recent videos that I've posted. So let's quickly look at the Nasdaq 100 forecast for October. So starting on this weekly chart right here, why the weekly? We can say that price has sort of been dropping for the past 5 weeks. We've been having a drop for the past 5 weeks. So if I was to sort of explain this, starting from looking at trends, we can see that the 5 minutes chart right there, if you look at this particular pattern, if I zoom in, the 5 minutes is actually in a downtrend. That is why we have that red ring around 5, and the weekly is actually in an uptrend. And trends are some of the things that we need to look at, and also the structure, because if you look at this, we are in an uptrend here. This is the weekly chart, as I've said, but price is currently touching this green belt. Okay, so that is the area or the region where these buyers are sort of going to push up on this green belt. So you can say that price is currently on the belt, and of course we can add other things like your horizontal support and resistance, or your trend lines. Maybe let's just do that so that you can be able to see what I'm talking about. So if I start by highlighting this level here, that will be our support level. Price broke out of this as a resistance couple of weeks ago and never retested, but now we can see it's coming back. If I mark this point right here, and of course zoom in a bit and mark this one, we can join these 2 points and form a trend line. That trend line is behaving the same as this belt. So this point, of course we can add another one point. It doesn't have to be this. We can add this to any 2 points that you can actually join are going to give you a nice trend line. This one and this one right here, the second one, this is what I'm going to use for the purpose of this video. So if I use those two points and move a trend line all the way to the upside, you can see all these 3 things are actually meeting in one place, right? All these 3 structures are meeting around this particular region. And this concept, of course, there's a name for this concept that is called confluence, right? That is confluence, when 2 or more indicators are sort of meeting in one region to give you that robust sort of area or level to say that this is where we could see structure holding, or we could see the market failing to break through. So that is one of the levels. That is why I'm starting on weekly, because this weekly is showing a very strong support area. Of course, this is not to say that we can just buy or whatever. So in conclusion, the weekly chart, what can we say about the weekly chart? Starting by highlighting the trend. Of course, the trend is to the upside, and if you're a trend trader, you'd like to look for opportunities to buy because of this. And of course, we are currently sitting at that particular weekly support. Okay, so I've spoken about the trend, and now I'm speaking about the structure, which is in this case the support, whether it's a trend line, whether it's a horizontal resistance, or that green belt. So that's what we are having. So we're looking for opportunities. That's the keyword, opportunities to buy, meaning we'll have to search for signals. We'll have to search for signals on lower time frames. That is what we'll have to do in this case. We've established what the higher time frame is telling us. We can look for candlestick signals like this one, or the twin, which is basically the other one with the red body. Alright, I've explained on another video how to use this. Check out that particular video. Alright, that's what the 21 EMA strategy we've done. It's up around 30 minutes there, 30 minutes video here on YouTube. Simply click on this pop-up banner right there. That's where the video is. 31 minutes, 35 minutes of the 21 EMA strategy. It works on Nasdaq as well, guys, not only for VIX. So if we continue with the daily chart, right, we are not changing the fact that we are buying. Keep that in mind. We're looking for opportunities to buy. That's the key. So right there we have this particular support area, right, or we can just call it the demand area for those who are doing demand and supply. And we could see the price sort of turning back up to the upside, because that is a very heavy area, as we've established. Remember, we've established that on lower time. We could see it coming back to 15332. We have established that on the weekly chart. We wanted to come back and retest this dynamic structure. Okay, remember the key, we're still looking for this support to hold. We're still looking for opportunities to buy on the weekly support, but this is the daily. I'm just showing you where the weekly support is. All right, so let me maybe explain how I link those time frames together in a video. So this is how you wanna do it. So if you look at this, I'm just going to start here on weekly by highlighting this level by drawing a line. Alright, keep in mind this line is a static line, it's not a moving line. So if we change time frames, let's say I move to another time frame, or maybe let me just draw more lines before I change time frames. So maybe a zone. Must I draw a zone? Let me just draw a zone, because it's gonna give us other static lines again. So if I move this particular area as a zone, remember this was broken, price never came back. Alright, this won't change if we change time frames. These levels are still gonna be the same levels. 15 will be 15 if that's 15. It won't change. So this doesn't mean that when you change time frames you change the decision whether you buy or sell. So if we come down to this particular time frame right here, you can see that the line is still there. It's still down there. It doesn't change the fact that we are down here on this particular chart. So if you are looking for specific signals, or maybe you're looking for trend line breaks, even if you change the time frame again, we are still here. Do you understand what I mean? So that is why I'm saying opportunities, we have to look for them on lower time frames. If it's a trend line break, you can come down here and look for that specific trend line break on a much lower time frame. So time frames, really, they're just allowing us to minimize the risk, especially lower time frames, and to get early on those particular trades, because this level remains the same level. This low, that's why I've drawn the line like this, so that you can have a reference to say that this is the same level. We're not changing the decision, we're just changing the time frame. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we're still down here on this low. What you want to do is to just look for evidence. Change to 30 minutes or whatever time frame that you want. Let me maybe show you what I'm talking about further. So let's start 5 minutes to H1. This is where I'm going to look for trigger time. These are entry time frames. These are my entry time frames. So I'm going to look for this between those two time frames, meaning I need to look for signals. Let's say maybe M5 is a trigger time frame. For example, what can I look for on M5 now using the current markets? You said this red belt to the downside. Remember, we established that the 5 minutes guys are on a are on a downtrend. This is the downtrend that I was talking about at the beginning of the video. Just rewind. What I'd like to see is these weekly buyers. Remember, the higher time frame is that the weekly is sitting on support. I'd like to see these weekly buyers right here, pushing price all the way to the upside. Okay, this is what I'd like to see. I want to see these guys pushing all the way to the upside, taking out the 5 minutes sellers, which is that red belt, this red belt right here. If this can be taken out, this will be a sign that these buyers are strong enough to push to that 15,332 that I was telling you about. I want to see these buyers, and stop losses will have to come down to this low. Should this red pushing be taken out? Does it make sense? If it does, let me know in the comment section. Otherwise, sharp. If it doesn't, drop me a comment. Let me know if it doesn't make sense. That is my take on that, buying to the upside. Sharp.